Welcome to Cord Art. I haven't done a video for a little while, but as you can see, this one is going to be about this dragonfly. A lot of dragonflies around in the garden at the moment. It's summer here in the UK, but I particularly like this one. Got some nice little green sort of gem eyes on it, a blue monkey's fist head. We won't be doing the body just like that. It'd be something similar, something a little bit easier. The wings, as you can see, got 4 wings. Each wing takes about half an hour to 3/4 to make. It's a piece of wire with DNA around it. But the cord, if I show you really quite closely, I don't know if we can see that, but it's in a strands of 550. So we're going to tackle this in 4 parts of the video. The monkey's fist head, which people do have problems with. I don't understand, well, I do understand it, but once you get the knack of it, it's quite good, quite easy. Then we'll go on to the body, and perhaps then the wings, and then the other bits and pieces that go with it. Right, so the monkey's fist head. I don't make monkey's fists on my hand, even if they're small ones like this. I tend to use my jig all the time. I've made a video of this jig. It's just so basic and it's so helpful. You'd have to search that one out. But what we're going to actually do, I want this inch polystyrene ball to be slightly smaller. I have reduced this one slightly. You can see that I've made one in green. I reduced this one even smaller, which is about the same size as the original project. So the way that I mean, you can use whatever you want. You can buy smaller balls, like a few millimeter ones, but I tend to just slice off the sides with my Stanley knife, reduce it. See, that's more or less square now. Yeah, like a cube. So I'm just going to take off the corners. When you're getting down to something like that, yeah, that's okay. I'll just put the bin underneath that and swipe them away. That's that. Then we're going to wrap this small ball in a piece of this inch masking, well, it's not masking tape, it's builder's tape, but we're going to protect it with this tape. Just one bit off there, squash it round, squash it all down, make it into a ball again. And that is going to be the base of our head. But into the jig it goes into there. Find some holes to put the top into. As I say, it's just I prefer to actually do this monkey's fist like this. I get lost just doing it on my hand. Now I've cut 7 feet of cord, and I've chose to do it in this orange 2mm cord. We're going to put one end onto a fid. Yep, that's good. We'll let that, there it is. Yep, we'll let that end rest for the moment. Go to the other end. Now we're going to go round, I think it's 5 times. So we're going to start there, 5. So we've got 5 turns around my little jig, around the ball. Yeah, I'm going to keep that all together with a pin. That's bottom one up through those. Yeah, so we'll bring that one round to there. Right, where we started, we've got five cords, From that point on there where we started, where the pin goes up and down there, we're going to go backwards. Yeah. Down through there and back. A lot of people say they're okay at making these monkey's fists. It's a tightening up. You just got to be methodical about it. There's nothing difficult about it. So I'm coming underneath the ball now to go up and over the top a second time. So it's gone around the front once, over the top twice. Now someone said to me the other day, oh, you know, I didn't know you could do odd number of chords and a monkey's fist. Yeah, I might put 4 on one side, I might put 6 on another and 5 on the third. There's nothing stopping you from doing whatever you want. It will still come out well. I mean, the object is to cover the ball in this case. I mean, the original monkey's fist was to actually enclose a large piece of lead for throwing purposes. Right, so we've got 5 going around this way, 5 going up and over the top and round underneath. Now we're going to go just round. There's my pin, just in there. Okay, well that pin can come out now. It's not doing anything. So there's the start point. I'm just going to go round this post now, like so, and then start going underneath these 5. So down through there for those 5. I'm going to move the whole project up slightly, so that we've got enough room to work. So down through there. Through. Up underneath this one, or those 5, should we say. Try and keep the cord nice and straight. Back down through that one. And we're back to there. Let's go back down through again. So we're 4 over the top. Bit monotonous this bit, but getting there. But I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. I think I might put 1 more around it, just to be on the safe side. So I've actually ended up with 5 passes to begin with. The next one was 5 passes, the next way we went round. And then this one is 6 of the jig. Right, so there we are. We've got this is where we started, just here. Hang on, let me sort this out. Yeah, this is where we started when we went round, round and round 5 times. And we came up to, I think it's something to point with. So we started here, we went round 5 times, and we came to here. Then we went backwards, round 5 times, backwards, and then when we got to here we went around that beam which was sticking up there, down under, up through, but we've gone 6 times. Yeah, I'm going to find where we started, which is that one there. Yeah, I'm going to get it so that the one what we started with, i.e. that one, yeah, is up and down. I'm going to get the tail end and just put it like so. Now I can squash that and it still just stays there. Now this is the first one we're going to move. Down like that, then up like that, just taking the slack out. We're not tightening it up at all hard. We're not tightening it really tight. We're just going to get the slack out of it. By me holding it like that, I'm keeping the place, if you like. So when I go down here, there's a bit of resistance. And when I go up to this one, there's a bit of resistance. It's helpful. Right, we've come to the end of those 5 there. Let that tail go. That's where we've come round to. We're changing direction, so we're just going to follow through like so. Don't pull it tight or else you'll take it out of shape. There's a bit of twist in there, so I'm dealing with the twist. Can you see the twist? I'm dealing with the twist as we go along. Pulling the wrong one. This is where people have their trouble. They tend to pull the wrong cord. So there's the twist coming out of that one. I don't usually have any twist because I take a lot more time in doing these, but I can't be spending too much time with this video on just doing a monkey's fist. So this is the last bit of the second part of the tie, coming round to here, and we're going to change where we go again. If you look at that, they seem to be all over the place, so I just straighten them up a bit before we tighten. Yeah. Hoping I'm capturing this all on film. I think once I've done this tightening, I'll do the second part of the tightening offline, or I'll come back just as I'm finishing, or else we're going to have hours and hours of videoing. But this is giving the general idea of how to tie a small monkey's fist. So I suppose by cutting all that polystyrene down, it was more like 1/2 inch sphere than a full inch. But nothing has to be all that precise with. So there you go. I did complete it offline. I had to take a pair of pliers to it. I just come out of shot slightly. There's the pliers. With fingers as big as this on something as small as this. Yeah, I just had to finish it off with some pliers, but quite happy with it. Now we've got a bit of cord left over. Now that's needed. I'll show you a bit later when we assemble the whole project. But so that's the head made. Okay, it hasn't got any eyes on it or antennae, but that'll be a bit later. So now we're going to look at how we're going to make the body, and I'm going to do some vertical hitching. on a piece of polystyrene again. I'll shape up a piece to about that size, because I mean all I've got is larger pieces of polystyrene, so I'll cut one to a size. I'll show you that. And then rather than tying half hitches all the way around it, which that's half hitches, half hitches, half hitches, takes forever, we're going to do vertical hitching. Now vertical hitching you usually do on a straight round shaft, if you like, and I'll show you the difference on how we achieve covering a globe. So the body, I've got myself a 2-inch polystyrene egg. Now that measures 2 inches that way, and this way is about 1.25 inches, but that's too big. I mean, if you think of the head, it's going to look too fat. So we started going back again. We had this egg 2 inches length, 1.25 inches, but I needed to cut it down. You can see that I've cut one down, and there's what I've come up with. I've cut more or less half of it away. Yeah, we'll put that one to one side. We won't be using that one. We'll be using this. Yeah, get rid of the pieces that I cut off. Now we need a piece of cord, and I'm going to be using 2mm again, 8 feet again in length. Right, first thing we're going to do with this blank is cover in the tape. Yep. So it's all about perspective. I mean, we know how big the head's going to be. Let's use the right one, the orange one. So it's going to be like so, yeah. And that looks about right. So I've made a piece of polystyrene with taper on it, around like that. Now we're going to do vertical rib hitching. Now for me to be able to show you how to do vertical rib hitching around this, I first need to show you how to do it, how it was supposed to be used around a tube. Now I've cut 8 feet of cord, which is of this colour. Yeah. Now you double it over to about 6 inches. You twist it. The idea to do this vertical rib hitching is you twist that double bit like so. You wrap it around the tube, yeah, and you come up through that loop. Sorry, I probably went way off. So you've got it twisted and you come up through that loop. So you bring it all up through that loop. Making a dog's dinner of this one. So we've gone round like so. Not too tight, so you can get something behind it. And I say, on this 2mm, I've put a darning needle. So you go underneath, on top of your running cord, like so. Pull it through. And then you've got a half hitch round your double piece, yeah? Again, you go down behind the two of them, over the top of this one, pulling it through. Again, twist will get the better of us in a minute, but whilst we haven't got any twist. Now you try and get these half hitches the same distance apart. So if we keep it at half inch each one, and down again. As I say, this is just showing you how you would do normal vertical rib hitching. Around a tube. So there's your second one, yeah? Third one. Again, we come round a bit further underneath those two, top of this one, like that, and you can see we're coming round to where we started. Let's put another one in, like so, top of this one. So there's another one, and we'll probably do one more right on the join. See if I can get some of that twist out. Underneath those two, over this one, like so. Right, so that's round once. That's actually making what we need to be where they are. To go round again, if you can see, there's the two that we're tied to, there's the half hitch, but there, can you see that there's a cross just below that's where we want to go, in through there, over the top of this cord, like so, like that. Can you see that you're then getting the rib? It's going to be travelling down there. We go through underneath those two, I'm not going to do too much because I'm going to have to undo this to put the 8-footer cord onto our little body. But can you see that the effect is coming along? So there's the two that we're tying to, but those are the two we want to go underneath. This one is being crossed by this one just there, and we need to actually go through there. Well, welcome back. I've just retrieved that 8 foot of cord from that piece of pipe. Now it's a little bit different how we do vertical rib hitching up something like this. What I want to do first of all is have about 4 or 5 inches spare, so that we'll be able to get hold of that later on. We're going to place it onto the top of that object. Lots of pins here, don't know if you can see them. Yeah, got lots of pins, and I've got more pins you use the better, I think. So we've got a pin right in the middle. We'll push that down out the way. We'll put a pin either side of it. Now that vertical rib hitching that I showed you on the tube, there was probably about 5 or 6 hitchings going to go down the tube. We only want 4 to go down this piece of this object. Yeah, I'm going to put a pin opposite there again. So what in fact we've got is a piece of cord with 3 pins in it going into the top. We're going to bring it round this way, and then about a quarter of the way around we're going to leave a bit of a gap here, not too much of a gap, but a bit of a gap, and we're going to put a pin. If that's at 3 o'clock, that's at 9 o'clock, we're going to put one at 6 o'clock. Yeah, a pin in at 6 o'clock. Have I done this right? Yeah, I think so. Then we're going to come underneath that one at 3 o'clock, and we're going to go to 12 o'clock. Put a pin in at 12 o'clock. Here. Like so. We'll put that down a bit further because it sticks through and get me in the finger. Right, so you can see the shape on there. Now, as I say, I've got my darning needle on the other end of this cord, and we're going to come down through that loop, but over the top of that cord. So that will be our first hitch, just there, yeah. We now want to put one to here. Now we've got a pin in there, so not to worry though, we leave the pin there. We'll come just this side of the pin over the top of this one. Put our next hitch in. Yeah, so that's 2 hitches, 1, 2. We want one right underneath this piece of cord here, so we'll just go to the other side of that pin there, over the top of this one, what you're not seeing is that I'm twisting it at the same time, trying to keep the twist out. So that's our third one, yeah, our third hitch, and we want the fourth one just this side of this pin. So we're going to come down and over this one, and then we'll have our fourth hitch. Sorry about that, but it's so easy to mess things up, isn't it? As long as we put it right, there'll be no problems. So there's our fourth hitch. Lovely. Yeah. Now, it's about this time that I start using lots of pins to hold everything in position, but we'll go one more. Let me think. Yeah, now we want to go, I don't know if you can see, we need to go in there. We don't want anything to do with this top one anymore. We want to go in there, yeah, over the top of this one. We might have to use a pin to hold each ribbing in place as we go down. Yeah. This twist is, in this particular cord, gets really quite drastic. Strange how some cords suffer more than others. So we've just gone down through there. We're going to tighten that one up, and we're going to keep all of those ribs. We're going to have a line of ribbing going down here, a line of ribbing going down there, and a line of ribbing going down there. So I don't want any of this to move, so I'm going to actually put another pin in that top there, like so. Keep that out of the way. Right, there's the rib again. Nothing to do with these top ones, just, can you see this cross one here? This one goes underneath there, like so. Perfect. Yeah, another ribbing there. That's good. And I will put a pin, because the last thing we want is all of this just falling off the end. Once we get a good way down, there's not really a chance of that, no? But at the moment there is, because there's a lot of stresses all over the place. Right, get rid of my twist again. Get rid of the twist by just pulling it through, There's the next hitch, just like so, through there, over the top of this one. Right, that's better. I've got a fid on there. If you haven't got a thin fid, you can always double over these and put it into a thicker fid. But this will make life a little bit easier. See how simple that was to come through there. We're going to go to the next one, go behind, over the top of this one. Okay. I know a workman shouldn't blame his tools, but this cord is diabolical. It's not very nice to use at all. But we'll persevere with it. There's that one. We're going to go underneath this one now, like so. Get rid of that one out of the way. I'll do one more with you, and then I'm going to start going all the way down towards the bottom, and I'll show you what we do when we get down there. So I'm just manoeuvring, tightening, and just keeping that hitching straight down. Yeah. I watched a guy called Johnny Depp doing this this was the very first time I saw this hitching, vertical hitching, and he had exactly the same problem. He had a piece of cord that had a mind of its own. Yeah. I'm going to get the twist out of that cord now. And we're going to do one more before I carry on my own. So go for the bottom one and the bottom one, and go underneath like so. Yeah, over the top of this one. Can you see how the pattern's coming now? Now, just show you on here, on this rat-a-tail one, there's the ribbing, there's the ribbing, there's the ribbing, and then we infill, and we'll be infilling in between here with this same colour. It was exactly the same. Can you see how small this ribbing is? Yeah, this is what we're doing now, this vertical hitching. So there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, then we infilled. But as I say, I wanted to use paracord rather than that stuff, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to attach everything we need to, with that being such a tight knot. I'm hoping that this one won't be quite so tight. But anyway, I'm going to push on with this one. I'm going to get down to about here, come back to you. Well, welcome back, and here we are. As you can see, I've managed to get the ribs all going down like that. Right, so we just ended up with a small portion showing at the bottom. I'm not too fussed about that whatsoever. Right, let's take all the pins out and see if we can gather this end, or the top end should we say. Quite a few pins in there, don't want to miss any. One in the side there. Yeah, those pins were just purely to stop our work from falling off this end. I think we've got them all. Now we can actually just bring those together by pulling that end. Yeah. That's good. And then we decide what we're going to do with it next. You might have heard something just drop. Well, that's another flying object that I've just made. I've got to show it to you. What do you think of that one then? That looks good, doesn't it? Whoops, enough play. But what I would like to do is cover in some of these ladders. You see the ladders there? Yeah. And the way we're going to do that is just use this excess here. Now what I'm going to do is go under where I've just finished off and come up underneath one of those ladders. Yeah, so I've gone underneath the first bit and the next ladder rail, shall we say. Now we'll go over that ladder rail to the next ladder rail. Not easy, but we'll get there. There we go, like so. Can you see we got a stitch down the bottom now? Give it a little tug, neaten up a bit. One more, I think, maybe two. Then one last one. Like so. Whoops, still got hold of it. Now I think that looks pretty good. But I think that looks pretty good. Not sure if I'm going to be doing the sides and the base. There's no need to do that. Well, I say there's no need to do the base. It gives something to put the legs onto if I put another stitch all the way along the bottom. I think I could probably get away with not doing the sides because the wings, see if I can find a wing. There's a wing, or will be a wing. We'll be doing this on the next section, but let's see if we can bend that into position. I've gone a bit skew with there. Right, so there's a wing. But that's got to go into the side like so. Yeah. And that gives, that gap there gives us all the space we need. I'll probably reshape that before I put it in properly. But with the underneath, the legs have got to go through something. So I think I will now carry on down the bottom. I might do one or two up and down. Yeah, that can come out of there. We'll cover the wings in a minute. But I still want to keep my gap at the top and the gap at the bottom so that we can pass something through to, the idea is that we use the cord on the head and we go through the body, out through here, and then we can do a knot down that as a core sort of thing. Done one row of stitching along the bottom. I'll then be able to get my legs in there nicely. We've still got a gap at the end. There is a gap around here at the top. In fact, I need to actually put a hole right the way through it, and we'll do that in a second. I just want to finish off by melting that end over. That's good. Right, let's see if we can probably use a smaller fid to do this. Work my way slowly but surely. Through the body. Yeah, like so. Put the bigger one on. I'd like a bigger hole for it through there. And there we go. So I know that I can pass something through there. See if we can get the move my bird for a minute. Let's set it up again. You stay there. We're going to pair of pliers just to pull that one through. Right, I think I'll trim that piece of paper off now. Don't need that. That will be covered up by the stopper knot. So that's what we're looking at there. The body to the Dragonfly. Now the reason I didn't do that is because it's particularly difficult putting half hitches down a dome shaped or a round or elongated egg shaped piece of polystyrene. It's possible because I've done it, but it was just an exercise. I find that this gives just as good, and it's involved enough as it is, so we're going to use this one. Right, let's turn our attention to the wings. As you can see, we need 4 for each Dragonfly. Now, I've been quite busy in preparation to this video, and the wings need 7.5 inches of wire inside of them, and we need 8 feet of inner core. Now, I never chuck anything away, so I'm fortunate. I've got masses of the inner cords, dyed some of them as well, skin colour, or one skin colour, but I've got masses of this stuff. Now I've found that if you take, this is a good one, and you see this one, this is nice and straight. That's because that came out of a good quality cord, and I think it was out of 2mm cord. The other stuff is you can use it all, but it's not so rigid. I like this one. And what I did is I dyed a lot of the cord blue. Now it's only with acrylic paint, sort of. I got a little tub, put some blue paint in it, some water, and chucked it in, left it in there for 3 hours. Let it dry out on a tree somewhere. Ended up with blue. So because I have blue, I've ended up with what I intend on doing is having 2 white wings and 2 blue wings. We'll bend that one back straight. There's the 2 white, so that would be enough for one Dragonfly. So I've got quite a few more of these that I've done, but I've still got to do two more, one white and one blue. Or if you can't be bothered to colour the inner cores a different colour, just leave them all white. There's no problem. This one was the original and he's all white, but I just thought it might look a little bit better if we put a bit more colour with it. Oh yeah, here we go. Couldn't see it. There's the other 7.5 inches. Now what we've got to do is cover all apart from an inch. So you can see there I've got 1/2 inch still showing at the top of that one there and 1/2 inch at the bottom. You need 8 feet of this cord. Not quite sure how much it is. I'm going to have to measure 8 feet off. Right, so I've got 8 feet of blue inner cord. The other one I've got to do is going to be white as well. So we're going to put DNA all the way down this piece of wire. Now it's quite stout wire, but you can actually bend it around, and it's not too flimsy. So if we just put that around the piece of wire, we're getting too many things in front of us now, aren't we? DNA is a Solomon, but tying it all one-sided. So we've got the cord behind the piece of wire. This one's coming over. So we've got a loop underneath. So we'll bring this over and back. Oh, I better make sure I'm 1/2 and 1/2. Yeah, that's about 1/2 and 1/2. So we're going to come underneath and up through that loop. Hold the knot. Just pull the slack through to get the first one. Right. Nice and tight there. We can slide it up in a minute, so no problem with positioning. So we had the loop on the left hand side, so we keep it on the left hand side right the way through this tying. Up through again, hold it, bring it through. Hopefully I'm on line, yeah. Another knot, tighten. Right, before we go much further, I think we'll just bring it up to about 1/2 an inch from the end, because these are the points that stick into the body. Yeah. I'm going to switch off there. I'm going to come back to you in probably a couple of hours when I've done this one and this one in white, and we'll talk again. Welcome back. Completed those 2 legs. Let's just get rid of the extra. So we'll snip. Right, so that's our wings. I've got a feeling I just called them legs, but these are our wings. So all we're going to do with these is fold them in half, tip to tip. Yeah, squash it in a bit. You can redesign these. I mean, on my ones I've got the arches coming out like that slightly, just like a wing shape. So they're going to obviously go into the sides of the beast. All I do with that is get a small fid, hole. The one thing to think about is we've got to pass something down through the body from head to tail. So these want to go in probably after that, because you won't get the bit down through the middle, and I'll show you what we mean. So those are ready to actually go in. So there's the wings, there's the head. Now I've actually cut, we'll talk about the legs for a minute. I've cut a piece of what, you know, that the orange was rather long, so I've cut 16 inches of that off because we want 3 legs that are 5 inches long. Now you can see that I've put a little kink in the middle of those, yeah, like so. Now I've not tried these yet, but this is an idea. When I showed you the original, I had quite a lot of glue in there, and that's because these sort of flop around all over the place, and I'm thinking that if I've got something like that, if I can feed that into there, then it's not going to rock. Yeah, so I'm making 3 legs like that, and we'll try them. If I fall foul of them not going into the body properly, then I'll make 3 more and just slot them in at the base. But let's make one of those legs. So I've got 5 inches of wire, same wire I used for the wings. I've got some gutted 2mm, so what I did is cut a bit of this off, the excess to the head, and then we're going to slide that slowly but surely into the orange. We're going to have orange legs on this one, so by the time I finish, most of these are going to be multicolored. I take my time putting this in because it will catch if you've got a sharp piece of wire where you've cut. That's that one. Leave a little bit of extra on the end. Now you think, oh, that's it, but what I tend to do is just put a little bit of super glue on the end. We're going, let's try another super glue. This was another one from yesterday. Yeah, a little bit of super glue on the end, just to stop that wire from poking through when we're bending around. Right, so when we've put our super glue on like so, we're going to find the center. As I say, this is 5 inches, 5-inch piece of wire, so it's about 2.5 inches. We're going to use a pair of pliers and we're going to double up like so, yeah. Then we're going to hold, what you see, hold like that, bend back down again, same the other side. This is the idea anyway, that's stop it rocking. Strain that up a bit, like so, and that's going to be our 3 legs. Let's turn our attention to the head and the body. Now, with regards to the head, you'll know that I've got 5 on each side, except for 2 sides that I've got 6. Well, the long piece comes out nearer 6, yeah. So what I'm going to do is fix the fid back onto, if I can, back onto the long piece. In fact, before we go much further, I'm going to cut the small piece off and give that a bit of a melt, like so. Now we got our fid back onto our cord. We're going to go back into those, back underneath those 6, but come out 3 in. Now the reason we're going to do that is that will centralize our cord which we want to go backwards, so it comes from there. Yeah, we're going to go from where we want the head to be back down through, hopefully all being seen. Pull that through like so. Yeah. Now, which way to have the head? I probably are going to have the head like so, so that I can put the eyes either side of these threads coming down, and plus that gives me a crease to put my antennae in where I want it, just like so. And then we can actually, we've got enough here for this to be the center of another DNA coming down out from that. Yeah, so we're looking like that. So that's how far I've got so far. We've got the wings that are going to go on the sides, we've got the legs that are going to go underneath. I think with that I'm going to take it to that position. Well, welcome back to Dragonfly HQ, or Dragonfly Flight, I think. Here's the original, looking quite dandy. Yeah, I still like him a lot. This is that one with the corn body. Everybody said it looked like a piece of corn, but I thought it looked like a body, and looking more like a body every minute. He's a cutie, isn't he? Love this one. Another one with the rat-a-tail body. And as you can see, we finished him off by doing a DNA tail, a double stop knot. And that's basically what we're going to do with the project that we've been making. Now, just to bring you up to speed, I've put the wings in. They went in really quite well. A bit of glue underneath just to keep them into place. The legs went in super duper, just how I wanted them to go in, if you see what I mean. Yeah, and they won't twist. Now what I've done is I've cut myself a piece of wire, turned the end over. It's a little bit lighter wire than what I was using before, and after putting the head through, well, the cable on the head through the body, I've actually put a piece of wire into the same hole, going back into it at about 1 inch. Touch of super glue just to hold its place. Now what I want to do is a DNA down this. Now I've cut myself a piece of cord, 36 inches long, and I've gutted it, and we're going to use orange. So I'm going to get that started. I'm going to turn this off for the moment because I'm holding the camera rather than having it in the bracket. But I just hope you like these dragonflies as much as I do. So as I said, I've got 3 feet of this gutted 2mm cord orange. I'm going to do a DNA around the wire and the piece of tail that comes from the head. Yeah, quite basic to do. I'm going to dip in this and dip out because I would have normally done this part earlier on, but I wanted to show you a sequence of things. So I'd have probably, well, I know for a fact I would have actually done this before I put the wings on. Well, almost there. You can see that I've done the DNA down the tail there now. All we've got to do now to finish it off is a nice little double stop knot. You could put a Turk's head there, it'd look just as good, but we're going to do a little stop knot. So I've cut myself another 3 feet piece of light blue. It's not gutted, it is full cord. I'm just going to melt those 2 ends together. I like to do this when I'm doing a double stop knot. Just keep those 2 together, and we got to loop one end and this the other end. Yeah. All we're going to do is put the double cord over the centre finger, bring that round the thumb like so, cross there, put it on that one there and pull those up through. Yeah, that double loop down the bottom. So we've got the vertical, which is twinned, and everything looks just about in. Is it ends up? No, that one needs to. It's worth messing around a little bit and getting everything in perspective. That one needs to go over there like so. That's it. Right, now we can actually carry on with the stopper knot. This one comes underneath, over this one, under the centre one, and over the outer one. Now, if we bring those together nicely, find our diamond in the centre. Let's have a look now. It's looking a bit messy at the moment, but we'll get there. Right, there's our diamond. Make sure that everybody can see it. There's the diamond in the middle there. We've got the loop around the back there. We're going to bring this one around my finger, around that loop, and then back up through the diamond hole. Yeah, like so. This one is going to go around the other way and up through the diamond. Right, so we've got the beginning of a stop knot there. Yeah, nice little double stop knot. Bring it in a little bit, not too much, because it's got to go over the top of its tail. Yeah. Right, once we've got it into position, we can start to tease it together. I pull the doubles first. Have in mind there's two lots of doubles here, what I'm pulling now. Double there, and a double here. Yeah. Once we've pulled the doubles, okay, we got this loop, big loop here. There's no problem with that. Once we've pulled the doubles, we'll pull the singles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you can see, it's coming together. It's coming together quite nicely, actually. Yeah. Whether it's the right colour or not, that's down to your taste. Right. So what we need to do now is just make sure that we're going to get it nice and tight. Can you see that there's a little loop there? Well, we're going to use the pliers to actually tighten this up extremely tight. So that one, follow them round. Well, I hope this hasn't been too boring for you. I mean, there's a lot of work involved in making one of these things. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So let's see. I think we're about there. Right, so if we bend that tail down out the way, cut those two off. And those two. Should be able to get a bit of heat on those. That should do. Right, now we don't want those ends showing, so we'll twist the whole thing round so it's at the bottom, and then we'll give a bit of super glue there so it doesn't move again. Yep, and there we go. I think he looks rather good. This one's got white and blue wings. The yellow one, or the corn one, as some people might call it, has got blue wings. The yellow and green, white wings. And my original white wings. Well, thanks for watching this. I hope it's been a benefit. Even if you don't tackle the whole project, perhaps you've come up with a few knots, or I've come up with a few knots that you might like to try. So from Cord Art, which I am, and also Paracord off, thanks.